Hi pre-calc. We're going to do number 15 here. So the money is going to double. It's invested at 10%, and then they want all these different variations for N. Annually, monthly, daily, and continuously. So let me just remind you, there's two formulas. The first one is the generic one, which is compound interest, depending on how many times a year you want to compound it. And the second formula is compound continuously, and you only use this second one if they actually say in the problem the word continuously. Okay, if they actually say the word continuously, then that's a case where you're always compounding it. Every moment you're compounding it, okay? And that's when you would use this. So in the problem, when they say annually, monthly, and daily, that refers to N. And N is how many times a year you're going to do it. So if you're going annually, N is 1 because that's once a year. If you're going monthly, N is 12 because that's 12 times in a year. If you're going daily, then that's 365 times a year. So that part A, B, and C is changing what we would call the N value, or how many times the money gets compounded in a year. Now the second thing that's confusing is they're saying for the money to double, but they're not saying what that is. They're not saying, well, what did you start with, right? So if you assume it's some random value P, then if P is doubled, then that's 2 times P. So 2P would be a double of P. If you just need to see some exact numbers, like if I had 10, 2 times 10 would be 20. That would be double of what I started with. If I start with 100, 2 times 100 is 200. So this is just an abstract way of saying if I start with P, 2P would be twice that amount. Now, I don't know if I'll do all of these, but I will certainly start it for you. So I took the first formula that I mentioned here. So for case number 1, it's annually, right? Annually means you're going to do it once a year. You're going to give the money interest once a year. So that means that if you're going to do it once a year, N is 1. And so you can see in the formula, everywhere there's an N, I put a 1. And they told us in the formula that the the rate is 10%. So I put that in as well. And if you notice, they didn't tell us again how much money we have, but they want it to double. So I just generically said it was P, and I want the output to be 2P. So what's missing here is T. And you're going to notice that all the problems here, A, B, and C, are done pretty much the same. Continuously slightly different because of the formula. All right, now how you would solve this is you first have to isolate the exponential part, which is over here. So that means you would have to divide off the P, because you want to get the P to go away. So the P actually will go away on both sides when you do that. 0.10 over 1 is simply 0.10, so we can just write it like that. And even better than that, since you could actually add this is 1.10 when you add it. So just some suggestions. You don't have to do it always the way I do it, but that's just an idea. Now I can take the ln of both sides because I want to bring the exponent down. Okay, so that allows me to bring t down. Right, and then I'm almost there. I just got to divide this guy off so that t can be by itself. Right, let me just see, so that's the exact answer. Let me just see what they want. Are they specifying, I don't see a specific decimal for time, so I'm probably just going to go with like 1 decimal. All right, let me just, because those of you who like to see the calculator part. All right, so you got to do ln of 2. Let me try to get the glare if I can out of there. All right, so you're going to do ln of 2. You're going to close 2. Divided by ln of 1.10, close, hit equal. Let's just round this to like 7.3 years. That's good. So t is about 7.3. Okay. All right. So like I was just saying earlier, these other ones are done the same, except the n value is different on them. So, but it's the same idea. So like for instance, here, if you do this one where you're doing it 12 times a year, you just, it's all the same process again, You divide off the P. You can smush this in your calculator if you want or not. Take the ln of both sides. Again, bring down the exponent down in front. Oops, I lost my ln there. Let's get that guy in there. Alright, now you got to get t by itself, so you want to divide off all this stuff that's in the way. Like you want to get rid of the 12, and you want to get rid of this ln stuff here. So that t is by itself. Right, and you got to do the same thing to both sides. Okay, there's two ways to do this. I'm just trying to think what's easiest for you guys. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it as presented. I'm trying to see if I can get it for you good without a glare. Alright, that I think is decent. Okay, so what you want to do is ln of 2. Then when you hit the division key, what you want to do is you actually want to put a bracket, because you're going to say this whole thing's the denominator. So if you notice, I'm going to put a bracket now, and I'm going to do 12 times ln of 1 plus 0.10 divided by 12. And the first bracket I hit now is closing this. The next bracket I hit is closing this. So if you notice, there's two brackets on the end. I'm closing the log, and then I'm closing the bottom. Closing the log, and then I'm closing the bottom, and then I'm going to hit equal. And again, let's just do one decimal here. 7.0. Okay, so about 7.0 years. Yeah, we should write the unit on here. This is years. Okay. So if you do 365, it's the exact part C. It's the exact same process that I did. Divide off the P, take the ln of both sides. It's the same process. All right, so I think let me just go to this last one now. Part D is compounded continuously. So again, let me remind you that's a different formula. Okay, you're going to use this guy, which I wrote here. And again, you can see we start with P, but we double it. So you're going to see it's pretty much the same. It's just a slightly different formula. Divide off the P. All right, take the ln of both sides. Bring the exponent down. Okay, ln of E, we know what that is, right? We know that that is equal to 1. All right, now we're going to divide off the 0.10. And as I've said to you guys a bunch of times, but I'll keep saying it, don't forget that you got to close it on the 2. So you're going to do ln of 2. You got to close it and then divide by the 0.10 or 0.1, however you want to write it, and that's 6.9 years. We always expect this one to be a substantially different answer because it's continuously happening, but oddly it's not. It's usually somewhat similar to the others. Okay, gang, that's it for this video. I'll help you out with another homework problem in a moment. Catch you. Bye-bye.